on behalf of our son Christopher, who was 11 years old back in 1983, when Kevin Cooper pretty much walked out of the California Institute for Men, the local prison in Chino. The last time I saw my son, he was out on the street with his friend Josh Ryan on their bikes, waving goodbye because they were having a sleepover, and he was told under no circumstances should you be late the next morning because we have to go to Mass. The next morning when he was late, we called and called up to the Ryan house and no answer. And Bill finally went up there, and what he found is the horror that he has to live with for the rest of his life, and that's our son dead, Doug Ryan dead, Peggy Ryan dead, Jessica, who was only 10, dead, and Josh, who was 8 or 9 with his throat slit and near death. He was eliminated from attending the trial because he was a witness, and the district attorney had to, Dennis Kottmeyer was the district attorney at that time, and he had to go before the court and argue for my right to even be in that courtroom. From that day forward, after the first day of what I think was a 16-week preliminary hearing, I sat in that courtroom every day. When the trial went down to San Diego, I went with members of my different family pretty much every day. When we were up at autopsy pictures, I'd sit out in the hall. And actually, members of the press who I know are supposed to be neutral, and I know they were neutral, but they're human beings too, and were horrified at what they had to look at and hear. They would say, no, you don't want to go in there right now. And so I would trust their judgment. He was convicted. There was no doubt that he was guilty, sentenced to death. And since then, all that's happened is that our family has been put through its own special hell that we have to live through. Members of the press dig this up on Christmas, it seems to come, or all of a sudden it'll be Mother's Day or Father's Day, or Christopher's birthday, and then of course the anniversary of when this all happened, in June. But that seems to be when they all of a sudden go into the papers. And you can't even begin to imagine what this does, not only to us, but to our other children, to the other members of my family. In 2004, we thought that there was actually going to be an execution. We were up in San Francisco. We were sitting at a hotel waiting to go to San Quentin when we were told that the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeal had stayed the execution because there were just a few short tests they were going to do just to make sure it was absolutely the right sentence. The only trouble is that the few short tests were way over a year, down in San Diego again, because you have to go back to the same federal court that you were at. It's a federal issue. And what happened after that over a year is we just came up with more evidence of his guilt. A t-shirt that had never been tested because nobody knew it was part of the evidence came back to have not only Kevin Cooper's blood on it, but the victim's blood on it. Then we have all the celebrities who attach themselves to this case and other death penalty cases, and then the whole group that I call political whores. Sorry for the word, but that's what I call them, that I think are on there just because they want to get their face in the paper, they want to be on the TV news. They don't have any real attachment to this. They don't know what they're talking about, half of them, but no, they become part of the whole process. So now we're to what, 2016, and this happened in 1983, and we're still waiting for some kind of justice for our son. I was 34 when this happened. Bill was 41?
Yes.
41. Now we're 67 and
74.
74, and we're still waiting for justice for Christopher. Kevin Cooper's a whole lot older. The only one that hasn't gotten any older in this is Christopher. He'll always now be only an 11-year-old child, and he deserved a whole lot more than that.